Yeah. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Hang on. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. And I did all that stuff so nice. So very cool. But that's okay. You can hear me now. I got all the sound up. Like I said, just head on over to backinthedeck at gmail.com. It's BACKINTHEDECK at gmail.com. You can also hit us up over on Twitter and Instagram and all of those places, which would be really awesome if you did. You know, you'd be a daisy if you did that. And you can also, like I said, also, hit us up over on TikTok and all that stuff. And if you were part of that wretched hive of scum and villainy, that wretched hive of scum and villainy, known as Facebook, then join Deckers on the Book. As a matter of fact, that's where the event page for Decker Day is. And this week we have a lot of preparation to do for Decker Day. So we're gonna get on that. If you guys are wondering why I'm wearing a t-shirt today, it is because, wait for it, right here in the Wizards Tower studio, it is about 105 degrees right now. And we gonna be here for a little bit. I'm just trying to get everything taken care of and all that jazz, because we got some stuff to paint today. And it's going to be some fun stuff. I mean, absolutely that. We got some really fun stuff to get some painting done on. And of course, I want to show you guys some really fun stuff. Now, we're going to be talking about Decker Day quite a bit, but we're going to be talking about some other stuff as well. So, go ahead, tune in. Let me, yeah, hit up Facebook, hit your Twitch and hit your chats, whatever chats that you're on right now. And quite seriously, and I mean this, okay, you ready? Invite your friends over to hang out. I know a lot of them are like, well, but you know what? It's the middle of the day. So, and we got the YouTube channel up and going. All right, we got all that. And yeah, so that is what we're doing. All right, yes, we are Team Dice House, which is one of our friendly affiliate stores and all that jazz. So, let's see, what else did I get? All right, we got all that. Yeah. So, let's talk. So, today's episode, right, we're going to be here until about 4:30-ish, I got to say, because I want to tell you guys what Decker Day entails, okay? You see, there's a lot of people that can put on a show and put on an event and all that stuff. And it's like, oh, they're just doing this to make money. And honestly, I gotta dispel a lot of that stuff, okay? I have known some very cynical people over the course of my life. I can tell you that. Matter of fact, a lot of people I know now are still pretty cynical. And I'm letting you guys know, as y'all know, Back in the Deck has been hurting quite a bit. Have not bounced back from COVID, all right? But I'm putting this event together not to make money specifically, all right? I mean, making money is a thing because, you know, this is my job. But real talk, all right? Really real talk. I love playing games. I love playing games. I love teaching them. I like most things about our hobby, regardless of which hobby you're talking about. And I'm not talking Warhammer 40K specifically, but I love tabletop miniatures games. I really like tabletop role-playing games. I love board games. I have a love for just about anything, and I mean this, just about any game or any hobby that requires being around other people. Believe it or not, I am a people person. All right. And it's so weird for me that we're in the 21st century and there's so much social anxiety. I don't know how to navigate that, man. I really don't. I really want to know how to navigate that stuff. But yeah, that ain't my bag. If you guys are wondering what I'm doing some arranging, trying to make sure I can get stuff on screen, off screen, and all of that jazz. So yeah, like I was saying, there is a lot of stuff that I dig, you know. Oh yeah, there we go. I'm a really big fan. Okay. A really big fan of playing games that people honestly have to be around each other to play. That is one of my biggest joys. Um, Partly because, and if you guys are longtime deckers, you know, Decker for life. If you guys are longtime deckers, you know I was a very lonely child. Okay, very, very lonely child. What's going on, Daryl? Yeah, that's right. I'm up on the YouTube as well. So bring some of your friends because we painting today. Um, so when it comes down to it, I'm putting together this event in Southern California because one, that's where I live, and two, I really want people to know about us. I want their families to know about us, and I could be here all day. Hey, I ain't saying you can't game in your pajamas. You know, your world, your life. You know, that's your game. You do what you want. You do what you want. Um, so, you know, when it comes down to it, I wanted to put together an event. And I'm like, okay, well, Comic Con came and went, and I didn't go because the numbers just didn't add up. You know, I mean, the numbers did not add up for me. There were the numbers of people going. There were also, and this is another really, really big thing for me, the number of people that don't like really take COVID precautions, you know, because you go to an event with 10,000 people. No, I did not make iced coffee. This is my plain old hot, which actually keeps one a bit cooler, at least according to the Bedouins, and you know why they drink so much coffee in the Middle East. And if it's just a placebo effect, Black and White NYC, then let me have it. Let me have my coffee. No. So when it comes down to that, I wanted to do something. I wanted to be around people, but I'm like, you know what? I should do my own event with Blackjack. And never mind. But I had to get a venue and all that stuff. So I made a couple of phone calls. I got a venue, and I'm putting together what looks to be a pretty fun event. Okay, it looks to be a pretty fun event. The location is gorgeous, and I brought up pictures. But you know that all that stuff is on the Decker Day Facebook. All right, so let me just God, what was it? Oh yeah, that's that screen. Yeah, and if you go on Facebook, look for the event. It'll be Decker Day, August 27th. I fixed the link to buy tickets, so that's good. Yeah, and we got that whole thing out there. And I got my panel put together with 133 Art, Marquina Lestar, Michael Young from Nerd Soul, Charles Mendoza from Guildhouse Games, and we gonna be talking about some really good stuff, you know. So yeah, let me just hang on. Boop. And boop. And boop. All right, cool. And yeah, I'm just putting the link right here in the chat. So yeah, there we go. There you go. Have a link. So yeah, but let me tell you some of the stuff that we're gonna be doing. I mean, there's gonna be, I'm planning on having 3 tables for RPG demonstration, i.e. one table is gonna have a puzzle, another table is gonna have a combat, another table is gonna have hang on. And another table is going to have like a character interaction type of thing to explore something. All right? And that's some really fun stuff. Essentially accentuating the I guess you can say gaming technique that I've cultivated over the years that I think people dig. It's a combination of old school ethics and new school understandings, or should I say old school understandings and new school ethics. And of course, guys, if you're new to the channel, when I say new school, I mean people who started at 5th edition D&D. Okay, because this hobby is like, it's older than me, and I'm 45. So And that means things have changed. They've evolved. There's a whole lot of good stuff. So yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, if you're in the SoCal area, grab a ticket because there's only 99 left. So that's a thing. I want to make sure that I got this going. Okay. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. And I got to put some water in my palette here. Just a little bit of water because we got some painting to do. Yeah, I've also got 8 tables with tabletop miniatures games going. Okay, and that is why you guys are here with us today. So let's head on over to the hobby hall and see what we got going. Now, first off, I did something really fun. A lot of players out there are, you know, there's been lots and lots of ways to transport miniatures over the decades, okay? Now, this is one that I just got. Yeah, we got these to paint today, so I got to do a quick speed paint on these guys, and it's going to be fun and quick and all that stuff. I hope Xanathade stops by, but, ooh, yeah. And there was one technique that I just discovered from a friend, and I'm just like, oh, that's, yeah, that's weird. That's really weird. And when I say weird, they did something. And we'll be talking about Sandman on Thursday, okay, Daryl? I want to get DW McCann in here so we can talk, and if he can't be here, I'll find someone else. But yeah, so but people have been doing something called magnetizing their miniatures. And it's adding a little miniature to the base so that they can take a cheap piece of sheet metal that you get at Home Depot and protect their minis. And I'm like, dude, this is awesome. All right, so I took that premise, and yeah, I am running with it because yeah, this stuff, I'm a big fan. So let's head over to the hobby hall and see what we can get going. We got a few minis we got to paint, and we ain't got that much time this. So we'll be here every day this week painting minis. That's just gonna be a thing. Okay, guys. So we're here in the hobby hall, and where did I put it? Ah, that's where I put it. I got my coffee. I got my palette. I got my fan going. Yeah, I go through so many paper towels out here because I'm sweating like a pig. Or one could say I'm more nervous than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. So, what we got here is what we got. Yeah, look at that. We have a little Cthulhuid monster here, and of course it's primed in white because I do a lot of priming in white. This is for the game Carnivale, which I am just enamored with. It is honestly a game of there we go. Yeah, this is a game of, I like to call it the tabletop miniatures version of Assassin's Creed. And we got assassins and nobility, and all of it is set within the streets of Venice in the year 1895. Okay. And I laugh because every time I teach people a new miniatures game, I'm like, yeah, there's this, there's that, and you gotta have the undead. I mean, what kind of game do you got if you ain't got the undead, you know? And this game doesn't have the undead. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna take some blue here. This game actually has the Cult of Dagon. And I'm like, what? They got the Dagon? Look at the Dagon. Oh, the Dagon, the wonderful Dagon. So, since they got the Cult of Dagon, I'm kind of going, dude, I'm with it. You know, the Cult of Dagon, cool. And they got a lot of factions. They got vampires instead of regular undead. And, yeah, it looks to be a really fun game. So I'm taking some of my sort of aquamarine wash here. Or not wash, it's the glaze and contrast paint that I made. And I'm mixing it with a blue so I can get kind of a dullish kind of blue thing. All right. Now, with the not quite contrast paints that I made particularly. Um, yeah, there we go. I mixed them down to kind of more like a glaze so that I could mix them with regular acrylic paint as well, and I still have the stuff that I need with a little more coverage. So this guy is a deep one from Call of Cthulhu. Now, I am, in time, going to buy the minis themselves from TT Combat, but I don't have the finances or the time between now and Decker Day to buy them, wait for them to ship, have them painted up and ready come Decker Day. I won't have the resources for that. There's just not enough time. I don't have enough money, all that stuff. So that's where the 3D printer came in. And this is something I love talking to you guys about, and what today's topic in the hobby hall is. I want to talk about proxying figures. Okay, a lot of people hate it, and to those people I say, dude, put those cards back in the deck, please. Because there are lots of schools. Okay, there's two schools. There are recasts are bad, you're taking money from the company and all that other stuff. And then there's the elitist who are like, I only play with characters like this. And I'll tell you, the back in the deck way, the actual opinion of the company. Okay, yeah, this is good. It's really thick, so I'm just gonna water it down a bit. The actual opinion of back in the deck is this. If you can tell your figures apart on the table, and your opponent can tell your figures apart on the table, then it's no big deal. Seriously. Because really, when it comes down to it, you're playing a game. Now, a certain company out there that I talk crap on so hard, so often, has really been trying to cultivate has really been trying to cultivate this culture of only our stuff is great. And in truth, I get it. I almost don't begrudge them that. Okay, I almost do not begrudge them that thought process. And I'll tell you why. When it comes down to it, they are a multi-billion-dollar corporation that's out there to make money. I don't expect human contact, behavior, or considerations from things like that. Ooh, yeah, it's coming in pretty good with a blue. Now, yeah, with these blues, we're gonna go for a bluish green of the briny deep type thing, and maybe top off his head with pink. But what we're gonna do primarily is we're going really, I'm gonna try for a pseudo gradient, but I'm not gonna be all artistic, really, because we have a lot of these things to get out. Okay, we will need some contrast, and for contrast, since I'm going a lot of blues and greens, okay, our contrast color is probably gonna be pink, and I might add some yellow in here, but definitely some pink. Okay, yeah, because I want these things very much neither pieces of lunch meat, nor will they be auto parts, but I want them to be something hideous and unholy from betwixt the twain that man should not know. Okay, yeah, that's one. Cool. So we're just gonna set him aside to let him dry. Yeah, check the guy out. Check him out. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah. All right, yeah, look at that. Okay, so we got a little bit of that going, but we've also got other ones. So yeah. So yeah, doing some base coding here. Now, yeah, big old guys from the briny deep. And yes. Yeah, so I'm gonna do some blues and pinks on these guys. They scream Creature from the Black Lagoon. I know. Which is fine because they're part of the cult of Dagon, except they call them the Rashar in the game, and I'm with that. But there are times that, you know, I grew up poor, as you guys know. I didn't have a lot of money to spend on the stuff that my elitist friends could buy. I didn't have the resources. In a lot of ways nowadays, I don't now. I did manage to get in on 3D printers pretty early, and that was awesome. Okay, that was really awesome. I really, really, really dig. I haven't gone back. So it was interesting because what I ended up doing when I learned the game is a lot of companies are coming up with a new model of gameplay. Okay, and that is they give you the rules for free online. They give you the resources to get everything that you need to play. We're talking character cards, starting rules, scenarios, sometimes even the rule book. And when they do that, it gives you the ability, almost the right, to proxy figures. And a lot of people are like, well, why would I do it? Blah, blah, blah. Why would I buy something if I could get it for free? And the fact is, I get what a lot of people are talking about. Okay, I do. But here's the thing. When I was young, back in the 80s, there was a very interesting concept that was used as a marketing gimmick that really kind of took because it's effective. And you know what that is? Try before you buy. Fact of the matter is, we live in a time where a lot of really, really powerful things like game companies, or should I say companies in general, pull this, but what about the shareholders? Okay? And they pretend to be all weak and stuff. Like, oh, if people start proxying miniatures, then we'll go out of business. Sorry guys, that's not the way it works. Games Workshop actually has a higher profit margin quarterly than Walmart. And not just higher, we're talking 10 times. Last time I looked, its earnings report was 30% profit, where companies like Walmart and Kroger are at 3%. So just think about that for a minute. They're doing fine. But here's the thing. The way I've always looked at it, from when I was young and we used to copy CDs, you guys today will call it file sharing. It was always a matter of really trying before you buy. If I really, really, really liked it, if I like something, then I'm like, dude, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna buy this thing that I like so that the folks that make this thing I like can afford to make more of it. Okay? Now, I've been posting pictures of a board that I put together that are essentially the streets of Venice with canals and stuff like that. And yeah, I built most of that myself. We've gone through game board design and all that stuff. And the fact of the matter is this. I built a 3D version, a sturdy 3D version of the starter kit from this game. And I did it because, one, I didn't have the money to buy the starter kit. However, even if I did, the company was actually out of stock. A friend of mine came over with the starter kit because he backed the Kickstarter, and he got it like a year ago, and he hadn't opened it, and thanks to Discourse Miniatures, I kind of got the desire to give it a shot. So he brought it over, and the game was fun. And I'm like, oh my god, this game is fun. This is like one-page rules levels of fun. We were getting the rules wrong because we hadn't learned how to play yet. But even in all the mistakes that we were making, the game that we played was genuinely fun. And you know what that did? That convinced both he and I to start ordering things from the company to support this game, because it's fun. And I taught one of the store owners how to play this game, and if he likes it, he'll be buying a copy for himself. And because he's already had a customer come in and ask about it, he didn't know what it was, and I'm like, oh, I will come over and show you how to play. So we can use the free stuff, the proxies and things, to build community, and that is really good, you know, because all of this stuff lives and dies on whether or not people like to play, you know, if people want to do the thing. What do we got? We got Daryl over here saying, what? Fine with proxies as long as it's for me and not for thee. Abusing proxies annoys me. You know, excuse me. Oh, yeah. You know, I get you on that. I really do. Because I know a lot of people that cut their teeth in the tournament scene. I know I talk about the tournament scene stuff a lot, but here's the reason. All right? There are a lot of people who are in tournament games and the tournament scene in general, okay? And they're doing it to win. And here's the thing. There really are no rules and no big thing to make a person a good sportsman, okay? That requires a culture that cultivates good sportsmanship. And if you're from the United States, chances are you didn't come from one. I know now that I'm back in the hood, I try teaching some games to some people that I grew up with, and I forget that the closest, like the main game culture they have is sports, you know, football, basketball, where it's not just about beating the person playing against you, but it's about embarrassing them, you know. All the crap talking, all the get that noise out of here, what, you can't D up, boy, you ain't got none of this, you know. And that has made a lot of folks in my neck of the woods very reticent to learn how to play a lot of these games. Primarily, if you guys are wondering, yeah, I'm undercoating this with a darker blue wash, okay, so I can get a lot of the contrast out, you know, really letting this stuff sink in and letting the liquids, the chemicals, do the work for me. All right, and we gonna double load up on this, like we gonna double load up on this hard once we get the whole batch up and going. So yeah, but a lot of them have that thought. Hey Malcolm, what's up? Where do I get my resin? Honestly, I order it off Amazon. You know, I tend to stick with Elegoo water washable resin. I'm trying out for Decker Day because we're having a paint and take. And so for Decker Day, I ordered up some of the Anycuban Tough. You know, the picture shows that it's bendable, which means my resin, the stuff that I make for people to take home with them, won't shatter when it falls. And if I like what I see there, I may just have switched up. Yeah, I may be switching up my my resin brand. Because yeah, again, I proxy a lot of figures. I do. One of the reasons that I do miniature neutral games is so that I can use proxies. But as I was saying, down here in my neck of the woods, if you lose then you're subject to mockery. And people don't want to do that. People don't want to put themselves up to it. And, good sportsmanship, not really a thing that was pushed growing up, you know. It's actually funny. Like the old saying from Vince Lombardi, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing, is a misnomer, actually. It's a misquote. The actual phrase was winning isn't everything, but wanting to win is the only thing that matters. As long as you want to win. And I don't even live by that, because I'd like to win, but I just like playing. I was the fat kid that nobody wanted to play with because I wasn't good at anything. So, I didn't have a father, and I didn't have any male figures to teach me how to play football or basketball and stuff. In fact, though I grew up across the street from a park, I learned how to play basketball from a woman named Carmen. And she was a baller, man. She was the one that taught me how to hold the ball, to shoot, and what that square on the backboard is for. So shouts out to her, man. But yeah, so I was never competitive. So I'm like, hey, let's play some games because they're fun. Haha, they're fun. So when it comes to proxying figures, I bet you were wondering if I was going to get back to that. Well, I am, and here's the reason. The point that Daryl brought up, the proxies for me and not for thee, really comes from a culture of win at all costs, okay? And I am not whack. All right, because yeah, I seriously think that culture, that thought process is seriously whack. All right, so a lot of people would proxy figures and then forget what they're proxying, or if their opponent was asking them questions about the figure that was proxy, they would withhold information, and that just put up a really bad stigma against proxies in total, proxies as a whole. And honestly, I'm not down with that, because those people aren't about playing, they're about winning. And I can tell you from experience that a lot of those folks, got to make up some more of this blue. A lot of those folks, when it comes to winning at all costs, they're not very fun to play against unless you are the type of player, and there are many out there. If you're the type of player that finds their fun, and we talked about the flavor of fun, in solving the puzzles of how do I beat Ron, or Mike, if you have fun by overcoming challenges, then yeah, that kind of play style and those kind of play opponents work really well for you. That's not me though. I'm not that guy. Sometimes I like to feel as though I had a chance of winning versus playing against folks that are like, dude, you shouldn't have even showed up today. You're not worth my time. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you. I guess I'll go out and I'll make an actual friend instead of dealing with someone like you. I.e. elitists. I'm not a fan of elitists. So the thing is, though, when it comes down to that kind of thing, there was a lot of cheating in tournament scenes when it came to using proxy figures. And so to combat it, people just started saying no proxies. And that is it's a fast solution, but it's not really one that I support, because that puts up a pay barrier in any hobby that's there, In order to be part of this, in order to be part of what we're doing, you have to have, you have to have X amount of money. So I'll tell you guys, Games Workshop doesn't have any stores in the hood or near trailer parks. They set up in upper middle class areas. Okay, that's what they do. And most game stores set up in middle class areas, because that's where the gamers are. And what Games Workshop used to do, I don't know if they still do it, so don't quote me on this, is they would monitor the amount that each indie store was buying, and once it hit a certain level, they would set up their own store within a mile of their client, and that's just, I say it's bad business, because it's not ethical. So that's a big thing for me. Okay, so these are minis that I found for free on Cults 3D, and I like them a lot. I don't know if they're pirated, but since I went looking for the Esoteric Order of Dagon, which, by the way, is public domain, I figured, you know what, I can probably use these things, and yeah, so I got these guys. Their blue undercoat is practically going. My monsters are coming out pretty okay. Alright, now a friend of mine gave me some minis that he printed for when we play one-page rules. He created a chaos cult that he doesn't use anymore, so he gave me the figures for that. So I'm like, sweet, I can use this guy as my Rashar guy. Now when I have the money, I'll be ordering some stuff from TT Combat, because their stuff looks cool, and again, it's a fun game. Alright, because Assassin's Creed movement is something I've always wanted out of a minis game. I like doing the whoop woo whoop whoop woo type of thing. Alright, yeah, look at that guy. A little washed out. Let me see if I can adjust this picture here. I'm going to do some color correction real quick. We'll just take it down a little bit. Bump up. Oh no, yeah. Down the contrast. Down. Oh. Up the gamma. Pump up the contrast. Ooh, yeah. Color set. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. We're just going to make that a little darker now. Wait. Yeah, that's not great. Let's give it more color saturation. There we go. Boom. A little dark. Bump up the contrast a bit. There we go. So yeah, I gotta fix the lighting in here, but that'll come in time. Okay, and yeah, and we got our two little slaves, which won't take a whole lot of time. That's right, I magnetized my holder for just that reason. So now yeah, here we go. Look, oh, Fishman cultist people. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do on that. We don't need to do a whole lot here. Okay, yeah, now we're just gonna push that around and there. So yeah, and get his arms and legs, because they're fish folks. Ooh, I need to do a little bit of wicking. So we're just gonna take our little sponge. There we go. I'm a fish guy. Look at me, I'm a little fish guy. So yeah, so I get that a lot of people don't dig, really don't dig the idea of proxies and stuff, but here's the thing, and I will die on this hill. If you don't trust the people that you play with to play fair, you're playing with the wrong people. And if people don't trust you to play fair, then you got some work to do. Alright? Because the fact of the matter is, the way, like, whether or not you win or a game should not have any bearing on your character. Okay? Meaning, if you play your best and you lose a lot, you're not a bad person. You're just not as good at a thing as you'd like to be. That just means you need a little more practice. I get it. There's stuff I've been doing for longer than a lot of you guys have been alive that people literally a third of my age are better than me at. And, because they've actually put more time and energy in the directions that would point them to getting better at stuff than I have. That's life. That's how it goes. You know? And that's a big thing. And I'm bringing this up because one of the things that I've been talking about with Decker Day, and something that I've been experiencing a lot with people, is there is a weird thing where a lot of folks these days, and I mean this, all right? And if this is you, I want you to know I'm not attacking you, so back off. A lot of folks at a very young age tend to get really set in their ways. I like what I like and I don't want a new thing, And as somebody who loves sharing stuff with people, that's a little rough for me. It's interesting because, like I said, I'm a big fan of playing games, okay? And I especially love games that require other people, that are good on family game night, But a lot of folks not only aren't into it, but just don't want to be into it. They like their thing. And I never understood until recently how a person can only have room in their life to enjoy a singular thing. Okay? And I'm just like, really? Yeah, that's like liking more than what you already like takes energy. I don't get it. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take that same wash type stuff that we had, and we are gonna pop in some green black ink. All right, green black ink. 1, 2, 3 drops into that wash we had. All right, and this should give us, okay, and yeah, that's looking good. That's looking good. Looking good. So now we're gonna take that green black, okay, and we're gonna do it over this blue. And that's really gonna sink into those recesses. And again, we literally just dumped it all in the same thing because it's a sea monster, and that gives us a lot of leeway. All right, but that green that's on top of that is really going to give us a nice filter to see that black through. All right, and that's going to be good. Now with its face, I'm sure you noticed that we didn't put anything on its face, and that's because we're going to go straight up with this ink mixture on its face. Okay, straight up on its face. Okay, everywhere except the tongue. Okay, because yeah, and the chest. Okay, we're going to leave the chest mostly alone because that's where we're going to put our pink. All right, because we're going to need a little bit of contrast. So there. Okay, and literally I'm just slapping these things together because, let's see, by Decker Day there will be like 4 completely painted teams for this game, and for Grimdark Firefight, for Gaslands, and a few other games. Okay, so I have a lot of miniature painting that I have to do. So yeah, we're gonna be here for this week doing this jazz. Okay, yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, look at that. Those details are really coming out now. Yeah. And that's all. We're just gonna push this stuff around. Push it around. Let's see, what's our time looking like? Yeah. Now, I'm sure you've noticed it's 4:05, so I've only been at this for, what, 25 minutes? And fact is, this is a complete team. And when I say a complete team, this is a 100-point team in a game where 100 points is about the average from what I can tell. So yeah, this is good. You guys saw me starting to paint the clowns last week. So yeah, clowns, sea monsters, boy, it's a party. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Oh, this is coming together good. See, yeah, this is very much creature from the Black Lagoon, thing from the briny deep. You know, and I dig that. Now, we are probably going to dry brush this over the top with some of that light blue that we made up. Okay, but so far, yeah, look at this guy. Let's see if I can probably look better against some black. Yeah, there we go. Look at that guy. Yeah. And so now we're just going to do that with the other stuff. Doop, doop, doop. So we need to take a little bit of water. Yeah, a little bit of water. Yeah. Water, check. A little bit of our blue paint here. Okay, because yeah, this is going to be a lot, so we need to make up a decent amount. So this is going to be a few drops, which is interesting. Okay. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah. With the mutton nice and lean and the tomatoes thick. So pikey. Alright. So, and then of course, add a little bit of our teal here. There we go. It ain't rocket science on this, because again, this is just, yeah, lightening that up just a little bit. And now, add our green black ink. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. And now, ooh. There we go. All right, make that 12, because I want this dark. See, and there we go, but it's not inky enough. So we'll just take some of that and move it over to a different thing. Ah, capillary action. There we go. And now, add that ink. A little darker. There we go. A little darker still. Good. Yeah, alright, that's what I'm looking for. And now, we go to the other guy. Ooh, you know what? What? Any clown sea monsters? No, no clown sea monsters, Vixen. But that would be fascinating, you know. Speaking of clowns, I'm noticing Neon Arlecchino isn't here today. Huh. Well, we'll see. Okay. You know what? With this one, I'm gonna start with a just plain green. Oops, that's that's the wrong color. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Just, yeah, we're gonna ink the top of this. And I'm doing my best not to hit that tongue. Okay. There we go. There we are. And now that we got the thing nice and saturated, all we got to do is move the liquid around and let it do its work. Capillary action is awesome. There we go. But yeah, so, you know, like I was saying about sportsmanship, there's really no rules to make someone a good sportsman. I wish there were. I seriously do. Because, in my very vast experience at playing games, and it is vast, I've seen terrible, terrible sports all over the place. Okay? Just straight up sour grapes, rotten apples. They're bad losers and they're bad winners too. And when it comes down to that, my dream is for those of us that don't dig that behavior to outnumber them to the point where they have to change their behavior, or they'll have no one to play with. That would be amazing, in my opinion. You know, just the whole idea of like, well, nobody wants to play with me, so why should... And it's like, dude, people don't want to play with you because you're not fun to play with. You know, you make losing feel embarrassing, and you turn winning into a fight. So yeah, that's not cool. You know, and I've seen hundreds of arguing rules. Now, we'll probably talk about this more tomorrow, but when I do my best to arbiter rules, you know, or to arbitrate rules, I am very grateful that we live in an age where we can look stuff up on Google. I really am. Although, I do understand and appreciate how even sometimes that can't really help. Because not everybody's a writer. I kind of went through something like this. Well, I go through stuff like that when I learn every single new game. You know, and one of my big things is I don't really do overpowering well. Okay? And when I say that, I mean there are a lot of rules to a lot of games that does a lot of overpowering stuff. Okay? And what I notice, and the rule that I go by, especially in tabletop games and D&D and stuff like that, is error on the side that extends the game. Okay? If you are thinking, hey, this penalty seems sort of harsh, and it just takes something out of the game in like a singular hit, then chances are that's not rules as intended, and you might be misinterpreting it wrong. Or incorrectly, rather. And that's a big thing for me. And when rules come up, I always hope for questions to come up when I'm the one that'll benefit. So that when I what's the term? Say we should rule in a certain way, and that way doesn't give me an insta win, people can see I'm doing my best to be fair. You know? Now, like I said, there are so many different ways that people can cheat or arbitrate in ways that benefit them in ways that don't benefit other players. And it's true. It is. There are hundreds of ways to do that. But you know, when it comes down to it, I believe, way down in my heart of hearts, which is why I have that dream, that when a person plays a game They should be in an environment where they're safe, you know, not a place of mockery. Let me explain. When I was growing up in the 80s, there were a lot of class jumping movies. And maybe I'm kind of a rube when it comes to this. I will own that, okay? Um, but a lot of movies where the guy from the wrong side of the tracks falls in love with the girl from the right side of the tracks and all that stuff. But one thing I saw a lot of in these movies growing up were the people from the right side of the tracks were terrible. You know, most of their stuff was about like embarrassing people and showing how the people that you were following didn't belong. Now, I realized that was like a cartoonish rendition and they're the evil characters. But when I got to the suburbs in my adult life, let's just say I learned about art imitating life. Now, could be a chicken and the egg thing, I don't know. You know, a lot of people, when I watch The Breakfast Club, think that I've always equated myself to Bender, and the fact was, I was Brian. You know, that was me. I was a little nerd that got detention for bringing a flare gun to school because that's how I was planning on, you know, getting results. Um, hey, this guy's coming out pretty good. Look at it. All right. Um, so yeah, and you're right. It does take both sides to make good sportsmanship. You know, it really does. There are a lot of terrible winners out there. Um, you know, so when I say I have a dream, I literally do. I want to create a world where one day everybody can sit down and just have fun. Now, this doesn't mean we punish those bad sportsmen, you know. I am I'm about restorative justice, not retributive justice. Well, what does that mean, you big word using handsome man? I'm not about punishing people. Never really have been. I think, like, seriously, when it comes to things like, you know, the bad sportsman being around, I think people saying, I don't want to play with you is punishment enough. And then when someone gives them a chance to play and they show that, well, they're not total jerks, then they've learned the lesson and everyone has more people to play with. You know, I know it's kind of Pollyanna, you know, but really, yeah, I'm that's really what I'm with, you know. But it's important that people feel safe when they play. But that is not to say that safety is a weapon to be wielded against people, right? I've seen that too, you know, where someone doesn't feel safe when their victory isn't assured. And they take every rules correction as an attack and stuff like that. So, you know, it does take both sides to make for good sportsmanship. But that doesn't mean that it's not possible. It's just these are things that take a little bit of work, you know? So, Decker Day on the 27th of this month is all about that. It's all about getting people together, showing some games, playing some games, and showing how easy a lot of this stuff can be and tends to be, you know, if we let it, you know. I know a lot of people don't really like messing around with me in the games I play because they think I'm this super genius, and I'm like, no, I just do stuff that looks hard. You know, honestly, I don't like gifted kid syndrome, you know. Something that I've talked to my kid about, because my kid is painfully intelligent. I know, because they're my kid. So they're genetically predisposed to being able to think quickly and reason quickly and all that jazz. But that also means that they've grown up in environments where people expected unfairness about them. You know, they expected them to understand everything super quickly. And if they were actually having trouble, then it was, you just don't want to. You just haven't put your mind to it. It was always a personal attack on them if they didn't understand. And I have that. You know, that's... And I'm like, no, some people take to learning certain things faster and better than others. That's kind of life, you know? I didn't get good at English. And I mean, the rules of English and stuff like that until I was out of college and in the working world. Because I didn't have a place to practice it, you know? I knew some 50-cent words growing up. But, oh yeah, that stuff looks really good. So yeah, well, let's take a look here. So in about an hour, we've got very recognizable figures on the docket, and this is great. This is really great. Like, I'm really happy with this. Yeah, these look like creatures from the briny deep so far. And so yeah, let's head back to the hobby hall, or let's head back to the Wizard's Tower, because you know, show's almost over, so this is fun. Oh, hey, Vine Construct. I'm really hoping to see you at Decker Day. All right, we are back. And it's funny that you show up, because I was just about to make the announcement for tonight's game. Last game of Warp Tumbler C24, we were having some major technical difficulty. Okay, some major technical difficulty. But we've managed to resolve it, as you can see. So, join us tonight at 7:30 or at 8 o'clock for Warp Tumblers C24. That is the all-woman campaign that I really like running. They keep me on my toes by gaming in a way that I'm not used to. Yeah, there was nothing to do but cry and beseech the gods, and that was really fun. Let's see here. Well, Vine Construct, we'll talk about that. You know, yeah. We'll talk about dragging your family to Decker Day, because you could probably do good at buying 2 family packs, because I know you have a big family, but we'll talk about that later on today. But yeah, so this is like going to be some really cool stuff, and if you're at Decker Day, you'll get to see these, and you'll get to see these guys. Oh wow, wait, is that, yeah, forgot. Yeah, you'll get to see these little guys and the clowns and the rest of the stuff that we'll be painting this week, because they're going to be part of the demonstrations on Decker Day. I'll be giving a couple of demonstrations of a few games this week, just to whet your guys' appetites and all that stuff. But yeah, and again, what we got over here is pop and pop. Cool. Yeah, and if you guys are wondering, like I said, Decker Day, ooh, there we go, is a day of fun and games, and we've got the PayPal thing going. Yeah, so you can RSVP via PayPal. The link is on the event. We have the panel. We got some really good people talking, and yeah, $50 for a ticket. Okay. I know that seems like a lot, but real talk, guys, when was the last time you went out for a day and spent less than $50? Let's see. We played Magic. I'm an experienced loser, right? What do I think of the Salamanders in 40K, Daryl? Honestly, the Salamanders in print are my favorite subfaction of the Space Marines. Um, but they are kind of problematic, in the sense of how can I put this? Yeah, Warhammer 40K is supposed to be set in a distant future, but they don't really have much diversity, much Earth-based diversity, if you know what I'm saying. But the Salamanders are part of the only set of factions that aren't straight up evil. You know, they're not just straight up bad guys. They actually care about people, and you know, they're not too busy being too cool for school. And in gameplay, I like flamers. I like flamers. I like flamethrowers. That's my thing. So when it comes to that, yeah, I'm kind of for them. Yeah, really, a ticket to the movie is $14 a person. Thank you, Vine Construct. You totally get it. And the truth is, the hefty price tag is because food is included, and that's a big thing for me. You know, if people are gonna come out, I at least want to make sure they eat. So yeah, so that's like a really big thing for me and mine, and the reasons that I do a lot of this stuff. Yeah, this pink is coming out okay, but yeah, but instead of doing all this stuff, I also have to prep for Warp Tumbler C24, because I'm running a game tonight again at 8 p.m. right here on the channel, and y'all should really check it out. Like, really check it out. You get to see my style as a GM, and when last we met, there was a big fight that was getting prepped, okay? And I mean, like, a big combat. Now the question is, are our intrepid will our intrepid adventurers actually participate in this combat, or will they find a way around it in a clever and unusual way? I'm honestly not sure which one it'll be, because these players are pretty awesome. They're pretty awesome. And I gotta say, the one thing I do love about them more than I love about a decent amount of other players I've had interactions with is that they do not run from plot. Yes, they run from combat, but they don't run from plot development, and that is pretty awesome. So, with that, guys, I want to say thank you for showing up today. Ooh, still a little chunky. Yeah, thank you for showing up today. And, you know, check out, if you guys got any questions, I put the link to Decker Day and stuff in the or not in the description, but in the chat. I also put it up on the Discord, which is kind of cool. And again, once you get there, when you put the link, it'll take you there. Ha ha ha! Look at that! Isn't that fun? So yeah, and seriously, if you got any other questions, just reach out and contact. And yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it. Like I said, today we have so much to do, but I want to give a major shout out to my patrons, who are really a lot of the ones that are making this go, such as Laura Holton, Chaley Watson, Jennifer Kroll, Noel Olheiler, Glenn Couch, Christopher Chalmers, and of course Joseph Hines. So thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for joining us today. We still have a lot of work that we got to do and all that stuff, but in the meantime, we really hope to see you guys out there live, and we'll see you tonight for Warp Tumbler C24. But in the meantime, if anybody tells you that you can't like what you like because of the circumstances of your birth, race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, disabilities, or your budget, you can just tell them to take any of those cards and put them back in the deck, all right? Because you can like what you want. It's your life. These are your games. These are your hobbies. These are your books. But until then, I'm Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, and thank you for joining me, and we will see you next time in the Hobby Hall.